Hey, nobody. It's Everett's live music. And everybody that might give it a shot. I ran through about a year last year of it. This is the next year. Hey, just want us to dare to think maybe a little different. If you start in the beginning of last year with me, maybe follow some of that through. I think I'm going to try and do that myself with my own channel, like coming soon. Follow through for the year, as we turned the clock on the calendars for us. And I like to think of every day being like one long day, but it has its moments and its time frame that we keep for the idea of measuring time. But we all are in this same day and stuff, and I just hope that you wonder to yourself, maybe if we could look at life a little differently through maybe a future where we are not beholding so heavily to the dollar, and daring to speak about it and find some solutions for a better tomorrow, However it is that we come to find these moments and to dare to speak and think of a future where instead of the value of how much money you have, it's how many people you have been able to not bring together or orchestrate as some kind of like Pied Piper, whether it be influenced on one level or another from a movement, but just the idea of that's our richness within us as a people. We're not beholding to anything beyond the idea of the planet and a way of a sustainable fashion of life and existence that works in balance with the planet. It's far beyond just a CO2 and a global warming now. So I'm daring to ask about that. I'm daring for people to realize there's many people that have so much to share. And I wonder, does everybody get a turn? Do we all have to do the same thing for the rest of our lives? There are so many questions and so many topics I would love to open up, and share and talk about, but not until I've had some kind of response on my channel. But I dare to push at some of the angles and ask the question, is that where you would like to go in the future, or would you like to stay with the way things are and never imagine a tomorrow that's well beyond what we've been doing as a whole for quite some time, as we've invented a dollar quite some years ago? Maybe it'll always be around. Maybe there'll always be a way of measuring some kind of our existence as we measure time. I dare to speak of this, and I don't have much of a response yet, or a people that want to discuss some of the matters, and that's okay too. Maybe that'll change in the future, or maybe it won't. But just the idea of it. We measure time, right? We've found a way to measure it, and unfortunately, on some scales we do that with life too, with a dollar. Though, to me, that's really weird. To one degree or another, it's not totally I'm not able to connect, because my whole life I've been making money and working jobs. I've worked so many jobs. It would be a great conversation someday. So many different fields too. Why it might not bring me the most financial fortitude or a life where, when I get older now, as I am getting older, I have this big nut that I've been building from the one job. Instead, for the better part of my days, I've worked quite a few different ones. And some of them, like this recent one, I mean, I'm in construction. I've been at it for over 15 years now. Maybe I'm just not really good at money sometimes. Maybe I'm better than some and less than others for sure. But some things weigh in heavily on the ability for us to accumulate more. Which I'm thinking, like, in the future, as you've heard me before saying, that's probably not going to be the most important thing in the future. I would think eventually, with populations the way they go, and it's just the way of life and the idea of thinking of life, I'm daring to look at a different idea of it all, and more of a conversation level, and more of a, why wouldn't I want to contribute to my community or where I live and stuff. So lots of questions that could be asked, and I hope for the new year and stuff coming, everybody sees a change maybe in yourself if you want that. I would hope it'd be for like something like this, like let's start thinking a little different, hopefully. Eventually. Got a new song coming out. I'll get that going here soon, man. That'll be one flirting with the idea of how much more we are as a people, you know, than the bad things that have happened to us, the bad things we have done as a people, man. To one another, to the planet. I expressed so much of that before, you know, I mean, the planet don't need us and stuff, but just why? But we are so much more than that sometimes. And through some people's efforts of expressing poetry and music and thoughts and feelings and daring to push back at what has controlled us for so long, I've tried to bring that message forward. I'll get a new song coming here soon, and it will further exemplify that message that was let's say refueled recently by a young artist that I got to see not too long ago on YouTube. So like my channel, you know, I caught wind of it, checked it out. You'll be able to hear it soon, and just the idea that, you know, it's awesome, man, just to see that, to see the bravery in some of us that aren't so loud spoken, and we're not threatening so hardly. But for some people, maybe like if a songbird comes along and has the courage to stand out there facing so much adversity already in life on a physical level, and then just like lay it out there and answer the questions, and then immediately after, like I said, lay it out there. It's beautiful. So inspirational stuff to me doesn't far from always come from an aggressive form of action. I think for our future, our best and our greatest hopes are in a lesser of that. We have done nothing but proven in the past and in our history that we can use great force when need be to support somebody's idealism or another way of thinking, and just totally being absent to the reality of what we are faced with here on our planet. We're together, man. We got to start finding this. That's going to be my big hope for the year. So this is my New Year's shout out, is like I hope for that to be something we find. I'm going to polish up a tune I kicked off to myself on New Year's Eve, inspired by somebody else, and whatever it might be for you, dare to think differently. And everything has not been written to me in life, and it's not as easy without a conversation. We got to discuss, and we have to find an us. And we're coming through another big year. Let's dare to think a little different, talk more, and I'd be hoping to hear something back from someone sooner than later. But if not, I just going to keep going a little bit with some of my ideas. I'll have a new song coming out soon. So, hey, peace, man. I hope the new year is good to you, and you dare to think and try to feel and keep yourself open to a future that's undecided, because the one that's been, I think, going up until now, we have not evolved. So I'm daring to think a little differently. I've expressed that last year, and I'm going to keep going. I want us to evolve, like a way of thinking, a way of life, where we start getting away from some of the things that seem to be somewhat of a second nature of a way of life, where you're like, that's kind of a waste of time and effort, and there's more to us than what we've been doing. There is so much more to me than the bad things that have happened to me. It's something that was inspired by somebody else's words, and I will keep going with that, as I have at other times. But that's really huge. It's for all of us, and I'm sure so many of you, if you ever catch on to this channel, you'd say the same thing to yourself, man. And if you don't, you really need to. We are all so much more than the bad things that happen to us. That's why we keep going. That's why we keep trying. That's why we keep doing. That's why we don't stop. Because we believe that there's hope. Especially for some of us that don't have as much as others, man. What are you going to do, dude? Our hope is in one another, and the numbers, and our ability to find that within each and every one of us. That we are so much more than the bad things that have happened to us, and we're not going to... We have to let go of the mistrust, and we have to build from the ground up, and that's like us, the bottom feeders. It's unfortunate to say that, even, I think, bottom feeders. It's just a way of life that's been developed before us, and that is unfolded, and we have to dare to look at the biggest picture of it all, and take our time to share with one another. So, yeah. Hey, Happy New Year. This is my first shout out for the new year. Let's dare to look. I'm going to come out with a new song soon, and peace.